It's the bowl. It's the bowl.
Okay, so what's
Yeah, it is the bowl.
The purpose of the poster is to share out to the rest of the group.
Right, it's like a jigsaw. The jigsaw structure is on top of this, so
to
to
inform
share.
the group.
Right.
Student might say, oh, you know, the implication for me is to really think more about the implications of color.
So how did that, the first one we used
What if we did like in the middle of the poster?
Like this and then glue these on? Is that how we're going to do it?
Sure, I think so.
Oh, good.
And so share would be what's in the soup, what's getting mixed.
Okay, so we had high intellectual performance, and we had 4 strategies to consider. So we're illustrating all 4 strategies, and we put one of the arts disciplines with each one.
Because we're highly intellectual.
So this here was about a circle poster, and we chose dance, and it asked us to do a rubric with the students of what we want to see in their dance. And so on the rubric we put incorporate 3 different levels, express feeling, move across the floor, and use a prop. And those are all illustrated in this little circle. This is what the students would fold and make a circle, and then they put how they were going to incorporate the 3 different levels. And these students said we were going to start high, we were going to go low, and then we were going to come to medium, for example. They said the emotion was love, and that moving across the floor, one would start with that part of the room and this part. So that was the strategy that we used.
The strategy our team used was view, talk, summarize, refine, taking an excerpt of reading or music, in this case music, giving the students 4 examples to listen to and reflect in a group, and write out a sentence of how they summarize that, and then they refined it and tried to find an implication for it. So it's really listening if the senses are at the bottom.
And then there was this strategy here, guided conversations, where we took visual arts and had the students take themselves through a self-reflection, identifying assets and challenges that they come across, and drawing on information that they know about other successful artists, and kind of taking that into consideration in order to identify action steps to become the artist they really envision themselves as being, and then in the end bringing in the community and really reflecting on the whole process.
And then over here is Feedback Friends, where the process or protocol allows for students to get into groups of 3s or 4s, review anything, in this case it's theater, review a performance, give feedback to each other on the performance as a model, and then we can move to student work and do the feedback process, allowing for positive norms and appropriate feedback to reflect on students' work and implications for the future.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to come up with our poster. We're all moving to the front so we can be closer to you all. Yay. And our poster is, the metaphor for our poster is that we are unfolding like a beautiful flower as we present, which is a metaphor for what happens when kids get engaged. We have active engagement keeps us motivated. And so we start with our 4 activities that were involved. The first one is a tea party. So in the middle you see a teapot, and the teapot is a meaningful communication, brainstorming, which all helps build inclusion of everybody involved, and that is our tea party. The second one is theater or drama, I want to make sure I say it right, mini dramas. And so with the mini dramas, students are involved in listening, communicating. On the bottom, they're involved in cooperation and organization, which leads to cognitive skills, development of cognitive skills. And we have our actor. On the other side, you see you're going to see unfolding 2 things that have to do with our responsive rhymes. And we use musical notes, and I'll tell you why in a moment. First of all, we have poetic literacy. And the poetic literacy engages students in the learning process. And the reason we use two notes is that two notes kind of typify the rhythmic couplet and the rhythmicness of this whole piece when we can have responsive rhymes. And then finally, at the bottom of the page, we have an activity called Building Monuments. And when we build monuments, we are developing cooperative and organizational skills, communication, and listening. We develop oral language and artistic and cognitive skills. And that allows our entire poster to collapse. It allows our entire poster to flower into this wonderful flowering of engagement for students every day and the motivation that comes through that engagement.
So we're going to start off with our rhyming, what is it? It's called responsive rhyme. And so we're going to just give you a responsive rhyme. Here we go.
To involve kids in little time, you can use responsive rhyme. Kids learn well at any age when they actively engage. When their voice they can involve, they gain skills, strength, and resolve. Couplets range from hop to hip to discuss a video clip. Rhymed lines respond to a song to add a tune. Rhymed lines respond to the music, add a tune, you've got a song. View my art and tell me why certain sections catch your eye. Music, theater, art, and dance. Couplets give them all a chance.
So there's a little play. The teacher, okay class, today we're going to make a play. How many of you have ever acted before? Student number 1 under his breath, this is whack. Student number 2, shut up man, this sounds fun. Teachers, I'm going to put you into groups and each group will come up with a scene about whatever you're going to have them do a scene about.
Tea party, we heard Ron talk about this a little bit earlier. So tea party, actually we use a lot in our workshops already, where in the classroom or in a workshop you could have either quotes or you can have questions, and you have the teachers either get in an inside-outside circle like Kagan structures, or you can do 2 lines where one line will stay the same and the other one will move. And they're just going around to different partners and talking and doing a think, pair, share. And just a side note on tea party, when you use it and you say you're doing a tea party, you'd be surprised how many participants think that you're doing something related to Sarah Palin. So, I call it block party because my last name's Block, and so it's a block party now.
We call it lines of communication. That's another name that comes from the SEDI strategies.
And then finally, monuments, and again, Ron talked about this one, and mine just depicts a class doing a science project. So you can use it in many different forms, depending on whatever curriculum you're using. And in this case, the students have a sign showing patterns of nature. You have the student pretending to be a caterpillar freezing, and then the students going through the process of guessing what it is that the student is depicting, discussing that, and then reflecting on the activity, what challenged them the most, what was rewarding about the activity, and then finally debriefing what it helped when, and things like this. So again, to get your students actively engaged, you need to have an activity that is engaging for them.
Yeah, thank you very much for doing that. I hope that in your conversations you were able to find applications that made sense in your particular context. We want to make sure, and I'll review this at the end as well, but we want to make sure that you take the time to actually go through all of the documents. You can look at all those strategies yourself.